I'm an 18-year-old girl who has had a crush on my sister's boyfriend since forever. I remember the first time I saw him. I was just a kid, and he was over at our house for a family dinner. He was so charming and charismatic, even back then. And as I grew older, my crush only intensified. Her boyfriend is a real hunk, and he's so sweet. He's always been kind and considerate, and he makes my sister incredibly happy. Sadly, not only are the two of them in a serious relationship, but they're also best friends since they were like kids. They met in elementary school, and their friendship blossomed into something more in high school. They bonded over their love of music and adventure, and soon they were inseparable. They support each other through thick and thin. They're the kind of couple that makes you believe in true love, and it's hard not to feel left out when they're cuddled up on the couch, holding hands, and looking into each other's eyes. Anyway, last month they visited us. My mom is a born-again Christian, and she believes in no sex before marriage, no alcohol, and no swearing. She's always been a bit old-fashioned and strict. She separated my sister and her boyfriend to avoid any temptation because she believes that sex before marriage is a sin. She's always preaching about how important it is to save yourself for your future husband and how sex outside of marriage will lead to damnation. So my sister slept in her old room, which is next to my room, while her boyfriend had the guest room across. I remember thinking it was a bit awkward, but I didn't think much of it at the time. My mom was just trying to do what she thought was right, and my sister and her boyfriend didn't seem to mind. They're always been a bit private, so I figured they just wanted some space. My sister rolled her eyes and whispered to me, "Mom's just being mom again," while her boyfriend smiled and shrugged, saying, "Hey, it's no big deal, we'll make it work." They seemed to take it in, but I could tell they were a bit frustrated. They're used to being together all the time, and this was the first time they'd been separated like this. Still, they didn't want to cause any tension or upset my mom, so they just went along with it. On that night, I heard my door opened and someone walked in sneakily. At first, I thought it was a burglar and my heart started racing. But when the mysterious person whispered my sister's name, I just froze. It was my sister's boyfriend. He crawled and joined me on the bed, trying to be silent, but the creaking of the old mattress gave him away. I could feel his warm breath on my face as he whispered my sister's name again, probably thinking I was her. I then realized he was planning to have a quickie with my sister, but entered the wrong room instead. I was shocked and embarrassed, but also curious. I lay there, frozen, wondering what to do next. My mind was racing. Should I tell him to leave, or should I just pretend to be my sister and see what happens? I was torn between my loyalty to my sister and my own desires. I had always had a secret crush on him, and now here he was, in my bed, thinking I was her. I felt a thrill of excitement mixed with guilt and anxiety. I didn't want to betray my sister's trust, but I couldn't help feeling drawn to him. At first, I almost stopped him, but my lust won out instead. He was just so cute, and I really like him. I had been crushing on him for months, and the thought of him being so close and vulnerable was too tempting to resist. So I just lay there, spooned against his front, while he had his way with me. He didn't pound me senseless, but it was a passionate, slow sex. He kissed my neck and shoulders, and his gentle touch sent shivers down my spine. He whispered sweet words in my ear, and I felt like I was melting. It was even better than what I dreamed of. The way he held me, the way he looked at me, it all felt so real and intense. I felt like I was living a fantasy, and I didn't want it to end. After he finished, he whispered, "I love you," in my ear, and got up and left. I lay there stunned, wondering what just happened. The next morning, I heard them talking by the kitchen. My sister was asking him why he didn't go into her room, and before he could answer her and be in deep trouble with my sister, I interrupted them with a good morning. Right then, realization dawned on him, and the look on his face was priceless. I just winked at him, but never raised the topic. I could see the relief in his eyes, mixed with a hint of guilt. He quickly changed the subject, asking me about my plans for the day, and I played along, trying to act normal despite the secret we now shared. My sister seemed oblivious to the tension, talking about her plans for the day, but I could sense her boyfriend's eyes on me, wondering if I would spill the beans. She was too caught up in her own world, too trusting to notice the subtle exchange between us. I felt a bit of guilt for keeping the secret from her, for betraying her trust in me, but at the same time, I couldn't help but feel excited, knowing that I had shared a secret with her boyfriend, knowing that we had a connection that she didn't know about. It was a strange mix of emotions, and I wasn't sure how to process them all. I never spoke to him about that night, but since then, when they visit the family during holidays, he would always avoid me. He would barely make eye contact, and if we were in the same room, he would find an excuse to leave. I know I'm a terrible person for doing this to my sister, and worst, for not telling her. But I can't help it. I'm really attracted to her man, and I'm afraid to ruin their relationship if my sis finds out about the quickie. I feel guilty every time I see them together, knowing that I've secretly been with him. I see the way he looks at her, the way he holds her hand, and I feel jealous. I wonder what it would be like to be in her shoes, to be the one he loves and cherishes. I don't know what to do. Part of me wants to confess my feelings to him, to see if he feels the same way. But another part of me is terrified of ruining my relationship with my sister, of causing her pain and betrayal. I'm stuck in this limbo, unsure of what to do or how to feel. Please help. What should I do?